Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to do a practice called penny gratitude. And first of all, we're going to do a little math. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a piece of paper and I'd like you just to write down these numbers and I'll hold them up for you. So I want you to take your age and I want you to subtract from 75. So I've given you one column that has what you need to do and the other one is mine. So and I rounded up because I'm going to be 58 in August. So my number is, when I subtract that from 75, I get 17. And then what you're going to do is you're going to multiply that number that you get, as I multiplied 17 times 52, which 52 represents the number of weeks in a year. And then you will find that final number, which mine is 884, is the amount of Saturdays I have left on the planet until I'm 75, should I get to 75. And that will be the same for you. So what I'd like you to bear in mind is, no matter what that number is, whether it's super high or super low or you don't have anything left, this is about experiencing gratitude and understanding how we live and how we might want to live, especially during these particular times of uncertainty and don't quite know what's going to happen. So this can help with that if we allow it to. Now, how do I arrive at the number 75? 75 is the average age that a person can expect to live in the West. Most Americans can expect to live. Now, it will depend on a number of things, such as your health, wealth, attitude, luck, and genetics. So we're going to work with the average and hope for the best. So when we begin on this planet, we should have 3,900 Saturdays before we're 75 years old. Anything after that, after 75, should be looked at as a gift. So hopefully we live a little bit, maybe a lot of it, beyond 75. So once you have that calculation, it's a matter of understanding how are you living and what are you doing that's actually fulfilling your life. And this is a really easy, and I actually enjoy the practice because it helps me reflect upon the week. And all that you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself every week, how'd you spend that week? Did you spend it doing the things that you wanted to do? Did you spend it with the people you love? Now I get that perhaps during this particular time of social isolation, of self-isolation, it may be harder to spend it with the people we love, but there's lots of avenues that we can still connect with people through Zoom, via email, through text, through all sorts of different methods that we can still stay connected. While we may not be able to always touch our people, we can still connect with them. Now, why are you looking at that number? So when I look at my number and I look at that 884, what I'm going to do there is I personally, you can use a penny, and I like to use, which I think, oh, there they are. They haven't fallen on the floor yet. So I collect marbles. I really like marbles. So I have a jar that's filled with 884. Actually, there's a few more in there because I'm not quite 58 yet. So when I calculate that, and you can collect anything that you might like to collect, be it pennies, collect marbles, you can collect buttons, anything that's small, little tiny stones. Doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to cost you anything, and you put them in a jar. So my marbles sit in a jar or a little bucket on the floor in my office, and every Saturday I go out and I pull out one of those marbles, which represents a week in my life. And I ask myself, how did I spend my time? Did I spend it doing the things I like to do? Did I spend it being creative? Did I spend it enjoying things? Did I spend it in a place of gratitude? And if the answer is yes, well, that was a grand spent week. And that's really good, at least on my part, that I spent it while doing the things I wanted to do, fulfilling the things that fulfill me, and hopefully connecting with the people I love and enjoy. And if the answer is no, so let's say that you spent it in a week where you were less than optimal, perhaps you were sad, depressed, you were angry, things pulled you out of being where you wanted to be. It's not a wasted week. It's a week then to reflect upon, to be mindful of how you want to enter the next week. Because once that Saturday is spent, and once you take that penny or that marble or whatever you've collected out, you're never going to get that week back. So it's a way to visually watch your life start to be spent, if you will. We spend our money on a lot of things. We seldom take a lot of time to think about how we're spending our lives. And it's a very visual way to see how you're spending your life and doing the things that actually mean something to you and are of importance. Because when we get to the age of 75, if we should be lucky enough to, and we look back on our life, and we've been mindful, and we've been aware, and we've tried to do the things that actually fulfill us. Because ultimately, you can do your very best to try and fulfill other people and make them happy. But unless you're happy yourself, and in and of yourself, you can't really make a whole host of people that happy, because it's going to be reflected in your spirit, in what you're doing. And so you have to work to make yourself happy, to make yourself content, to feed yourself what you need. Because the more you feed yourself, the longer that's going to go. So once you get to the end of your bucket, no more marbles, no more pennies, you've made it. You've made it to 75. It's all great after that. And I mean that from the sense of, no, it's not all going to be great. We're going to have ailments. We're going to have issues. We're going to have the same things we had before we emptied that bucket out. But then every day should be a place of gratitude. And if you want to create another bucket, another thing, and fill it up until you're 85, hoping that you get another 10 years out of life, well, that's an excellent way to truly be mindful of how you spend your life. So this is just a short, easy practice in awareness of how we connect with ourselves, how we connect with the people we love, doing the things we love, doing the adventures we want to do, and not waiting for it to happen, not waiting for that day when I retire, or when I have enough of this, or I have enough of that, because that day may never come. And you may say, well, I need things in order to make that happen. I think if anything else is shown during this particular crisis with this virus that we're experiencing, is that we don't know how much time we have. And the resources we have, which all of us will have different resources, is to make the most of what we do actually have, to use it to the best of our abilities, our creativeness, our humor, our grace, our compassion, and give it to ourselves, and then give it away. A meaningful life is spent when we're happy, when we're appreciative, when we live in a place of gratitude. Just today, I walked out into the woods. It had been raining and drizzling. It's been raining and drizzling here in Michigan for at least 2 or 3 days now. And I walked out in the woods, and the woods were so vibrantly green. I mean, this really lush lime green just kind of popped, and I stood at the top of the hill, and I was like, and it almost made me cry. It felt like, I don't know, I was seeing that for the very first time, and it was kind of, and I see it all the time. I see that. I love my woods, but today was particularly meaningful because yesterday wasn't a particularly fabulous day. So when I get to the end of my week this week, and I pull one of my marbles out of my bucket, it's been a good week, because we're allowed to have bad days. We're allowed to have days that don't quite work for us. But if the majority of your days are better than not, it's been a good week. So be kind to yourself. Enjoy your life, no matter what life brings to you. Look for the positive. Look inside your heart and look at what the world actually is offering you. Our natural world is so very beautiful. And deep down, I absolutely, positively believe that humans are good. We sometimes lose our way from greed or lack of things, needs not being met. But I truly, absolutely believe that our purpose here is to be love, to give love. So I hope you have an awesome day. Collect your marbles, collect your pennies, whatever you're going to collect, and have a brilliant day. Have a brilliant life. Live in gratitude, and everything else will fall into place. I wish you a great day, and namaste.